South Jersey football and some of these teams competing on championship weekend. Jonathan Caputo of Buena Regional, the Chiefs have faced both Cedar Creek and West Deptford this year, so we kind of wanted to get his insight on that matchup tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
All right.
Wanted to get a insight from a coach who's played both of these teams, Cedar Creek taking on top-seeded West Deptford tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. What's your thoughts on this game? Pretty interesting matchup in terms of the styles of offense they play.
Yeah, it should be interesting. You got two completely different types of styles, but they both know how to play defense and know how to execute, so it should be a good game.
How difficult of a matchup is this for the Cedar Creek defense? I mean, obviously you played them in September, and they did a pretty good job against you guys, but I guess West Deptford, how similar are they to you guys in terms of the offense they run?
There's some similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. I mean, the big thing about West Deptford is that they execute, and they block people up front, and Coach Watson understands that, I'm sure, and he has a knack of getting his kids in the right fits. So the key is with West Deptford is that you have to be good on first down and not give them short fields, and try to make them be in third and longs, and you have a better shot of stopping them offensively.
What about on the flip side, West Deptford defense trying to contain guys like Bo Melton and Amir Mitchell and Jesse Mills and all those guys? I mean, you guys saw firsthand what those guys can do when they get the ball in their hand on the outside. How difficult a matchup is that for a high school defense when you're facing a team that has really two guys that are top-level Division I talents on the outside?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the one thing about West Deptford you can always say is that they're going to be good on defense, but to see that matchup just because West Deptford does what they do. Coach Folsom doesn't usually deviate too much from what their scheme is. So, I think you're going to have to do some things differently in order to contain those guys. The short passing game, getting their athletes the ball quick is put what they do in their defense in a bind. It should be interesting. If they try to get pressure on Milzo, or what they try to do defensively, or like usual, Coach Folsom will sit in a certain kind of defense and expect his kids to play football.
What do you think this game will come down to? If you had to pick a couple things, I think it's really, can West Deptford contain the big play of Cedar Creek? I mean, that's kind of what they've been relying on all year is, to get that big play once or twice a game that really can break a defense's back.
Yeah. I think really a lot comes down to as well as what can Cedar Creek do defensively. If they can control the ball and wear you down in the fourth quarter, and can keep put points on the board offensively, then they've I don't know how many times maybe I think it was Overbrook they gave up the most points. But so I think that side of the ball really intrigues me as well. Can they? I think Bo's going to get his place. The kid's a great player, probably I think one of the most dynamic players so far in South Jersey this year, even as a junior. But can they contain him enough, and can they can Cedar Creek stop them defensively? So that should be the interesting part of it.
We're talking with Jonathan Caputo, head coach of the Buena Regional Chiefs. The Chiefs have faced both Cedar Creek and West Deptford this year. Coach, what was the more difficult matchup? I mean, I guess they're both obviously difficult matchups when you're talking about those kind of talented teams. How different was it trying to get ready for each of these teams? Yeah,
they're both complicated. Two different parts of the season. I don't think we weren't really ready for Cedar Creek and what they did, and which was probably the best thing that happened to us. It helped us really rethink things, and we were hopefully looking forward to playing them. But I don't know that you want the blueprint from me because most teams we couldn't beat. The only two losses we have on the season. But they're both complicated, and it's good football. At this point in the season, to be in a championship game, you got to be a good football team on many different levels. So it should be a very interesting game.
Coach, in your experience, when you get down to this level of the playoffs, you're talking about semifinals, finals. You guys have had some pretty good success in past years in the playoffs. What's the biggest challenge as a coach when you get to this time of the season? You know what you are offensively, you know what you are defensively, but you're still dealing with 16, 17-year-old kids, and they get amped up. And how tough is it to really corral that adrenaline, corral that excitement, and to get them to focus on what they need to do, first play of the game, first series. A lot of times you see a big play happen real early because one team is just too amped up.
Yeah, well, the key is to focus on the little things, just like anything else. What got you there? You're played good defense, your hats are in the right fit on defense, and you block people on offense. It's not like you got to do anything extra special. The kids that make those plays, will make those plays in those games. I think being there helps too. If you're a team that's, I think this year we were more prepared in the semifinal game than we were last year, playing in that kind of atmosphere and that level of football. You got to be at your best, and being at your best is really just about doing the little things right and then focusing on your job, 11 people doing, their individual job, and I think that's what will help you. I mean, and once again, I don't know if the blueprint comes from me since we were 0-2 in the semifinals.
When a game doesn't go the way you think it will, how tough is it as a coach to be patient with your game plan? Suppose you get down 14-0 in the first quarter. Obviously the fans are all, hey, let's do this, let's do that. We got to get back in this game. And how tough is it as a coach to be disciplined with your game plan and say, hey, we've prepared for this. We know what we got to do to get back in this game, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, when you have teams of this caliber at this level, I don't think really go that much into play into these kind of games. If Cedar Creek can go up on West Effort, I think that it puts them in a little bit of bind because that's one of the things that happen against us. Our offense isn't built on like Cedar Creek's to put the points up, and I don't think West Effort is to put the points up quickly. So if they fall behind, then it could cause some issues in changing the offense. What they do. West Effort does, but I don't really think at this level of competition that those things do that much going into a game. They've been there, they know how to succeed, so they just focus on that. Either team will be successful.
We're talking with Jonathan Caputo, head coach of the Buena Regional Chiefs, kind of getting some insight here on championship weekend. Coach, any other games jump out at you? One that really jumps out at me is Camden versus Delsea. Delsey's a three-time defending champ. They know how to get it done in the playoffs. But anytime you're going up against a team like Camden, they typically have some great athletes, some big boys on the line. So that should be a real interesting matchup.
Yeah, it should be. The interesting thing about that game is the history. They've had some back and forth games. I know last year Camden beat Delsea, and this year it was a close game. And they're two teams that are familiar with each other. So. They know what each other's going to do, and so it should be really interesting. Can Delsea contain Camden? I mean, they've given up some points this year, Delsea, in some of those games, but they've also put up a ton of points. So I think that definitely is going to be an interesting one.
I guess no surprise that Coach Sal Marquez is back in the championship game. What makes him such a good coach?
Yeah, well, they're a team that does the little things right, and they get some talent, and then they're able to put it in action. They have a great coaching staff. One of the Maxwells, just like on our staff, so bred it in the game of football, and he just surrounds himself with good people and kids that want to play football. And when you have success, it starts going throughout the program, and the kids expect it. So that's a big plus for him. He does a great job.
Any of your players or coaches going to be out there rowing this weekend, checking out any of the games?
Yeah, I don't know. Some of them, I think a couple might. I said I was only going to go if I was standing on the sideline. So I'm going to keep my distance this year. I usually go, but a little bitter still, I guess. Right. That's okay. You put a lot of time in, and expectations were high, but I'm sure there are going to be some great games this weekend.
Sure, definitely. Coach, before we let you go, what are you most working on this off season? You know, how quickly do you get a plan together for the off season training program and what you want to accomplish? You know, winter, spring, heading into next summer's preseason workouts.
Yeah, it starts now. I mean, I was watching some videos yesterday, just things to show the kids on how to proper technique with squats and looking at nutrition parts. John Wilborn does this great thing with his program. But there's, we want to get in there and get ready. There's a lot of time. You know, there is no off season for football, so we are cranking it up and weight room starting, and the kids are going to get after it. And you know, that's how you have success. You prepare your bodies and your minds, and when the day comes for you to compete, you'll be able to compete at a high level.
Yeah, never. You at least get a day off once in a while.
We took the last week off, but you know, it's always better when you get back in the thick of things. It's easier to push forward that way.
Yep. There you go. All right, Coach. I appreciate you taking a few minutes and helping us break down some of these games. Thanks.
No problem. Take care.
All right. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
That was head coach Jonathan Caputo of Buena Regional.